Death, a mystery that inevitably intrigues and frightens us, is also the moment when many believe the physical plane dissolves and a new reality is revealed. What happens the instant we leave this world? This question drives generations and is fueled by accounts of near-death experiences, NDEs, and teachings present in the scriptures. In this script, we will deeply explore what people may experience when crossing that invisible line between the physical and spiritual worlds. Many reports and studies document extraordinary experiences lived by those who have been near death. People who were declared clinically dead but came back to life report visions, sensations, and revelations that challenge our understanding. Although interpretations vary, one thing stands out in all these narratives: the feeling of transcendence and a glimpse of something greater that goes beyond material existence. For Christians, the Bible offers inspiring visions about death and life after it. Verses like John 11:25-26 reinforce the promise that death is not the end. "I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live even though they die, and whoever lives by believing in me will never die." But what happens at this crucial moment? Let's explore 9 possible experiences that many believe occur at the moment of death. One of the most frequently reported experiences is the encounter with loved ones who have already passed away. It is common to hear accounts of people who, at the moment of death, see familiar faces. These are not vague or confused visions. They are clear encounters filled with peace and warmth. Imagine a person on the brink of death who, when closing their eyes for the last time, comes across a familiar smile. It might be the father who passed away years ago, or a grandmother whose memory still warms the heart. These loved ones seem to be there to guide the person toward a comforting light. The Bible provides a spiritual foundation for this idea. In Luke 16:22, we find the parable of the rich man and Lazarus, in which angels carry Lazarus to Abraham's bosom. This verse reflects divine care in moments of transition. For those who believe, we are not alone when crossing the threshold between life and death. We are welcomed by those who preceded us, demonstrating God's eternal love. Another frequently described sensation is that of material detachment. At this moment, the possessions we have accumulated during life seem to lose all importance. Houses, cars, valuable goods, all that once seemed essential becomes irrelevant. This detachment is a spiritual preparation, a liberation from material bonds that allows us to transcend. In Ecclesiastes 5:15 we read, "As you came from your mother's womb, you will go back to her again. All of us carry out of it the same thin shell we came in." This verse reflects the truth that in death we take only what we carry in our soul. When life comes to an end, wealth and daily worries disappear. It doesn't matter how much money was in the bank or how impressive one's position in society was. What remains is the essence, memories, emotional connections, and the impact we leave on the people around us. It is at this moment that many understand that true wealth is not in possessions, but in shared love and good deeds performed. A fascinating and documented experience by those who have gone through NDEs is the vision of one's own body from above. Many people report seeing themselves outside their physical bodies, observing the scene as spectators. They see loved ones around, hear the words spoken, and feel the emotions present in the room. This perspective offers unprecedented clarity, a glimpse of how the spirit can separate from the body. The Bible reminds us that the body is temporary, while the spirit is eternal. In Ecclesiastes 12:7, we read, "And the dust returns to the ground it came from, and the spirit returns to God who gave it." This separation between body and spirit reinforces the idea that death is not the end, but a transition to something greater. This experience of observing one's own body reinforces the notion that consciousness is not limited to matter, but is part of something much broader. Often, those who pass away visit loved ones in dreams. Accounts of family members who felt the presence of a loved one after their death are common in various cultures and beliefs. Whether in dreams or moments of introspection, these visits are interpreted as final farewells, full of love and comfort. They are not mere coincidences, they are manifestations that remind us that love transcends the barrier of death. The Bible also offers comfort to those who believe in this spiritual connection. In Hebrews 1:14 we read, "Are not all angels ministering spirits sent to serve those who will inherit salvation?" This passage reinforces the idea that there is a connection between the living and those who have passed, a bond that even death cannot break. Visits from loved ones in dreams can be interpreted as divine messages, a reminder that we are not alone. These moments of farewell are often described as being full of peace. Imagine a sibling who lost the chance to be present in the last moments of a loved one's life. In a dream, that loved one appears, smiling, with a message of love and tranquility. This experience is powerful, bringing comfort to those who feel the weight of loss. Another frequently reported experience at the moment of death is the vision of life as a movie. Many describe a sequence of images and memories passing before their eyes with surprising clarity. It's not just reliving isolated moments, but experiencing an entire life in a fluid narrative, understanding the impact of their actions, choices, and words. Each moment seems to gain profound meaning, revealing lessons that may not have been perceived while alive. This process is described as an opportunity for reflection, not judgment. It is not condemnation, but a moment of learning. The Bible offers a glimpse of this idea in 2 Corinthians 5:10. "For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ, so that each of us may receive what is due us for the things done while in the body, whether good or bad." This verse does not imply punishment, but the revelation of truth, allowing the person to fully understand the meaning of their life. This life review is not limited to grand moments. Small gestures, kind words, or even actions that seemed insignificant gain prominence at this moment. Imagine a teacher who, years ago, helped a student believe in themselves. In the life review, they can see how that seemingly simple act transformed the young person's trajectory, creating an impact that extended far beyond what they could have imagined. At the same time, mistakes and failures also appear, not as a form of punishment, but as lessons that teach about the power of choices. Every word spoken in anger, every missed opportunity to show love, is seen in a new light. This does not generate condemnation, but a deep desire for growth. It is as if the spirit is being refined, preparing for a higher stage of existence. In addition to the life review, many people report seeing an intense light at the moment of death. This light is described as indescribably bright, but not blinding. It is a light that envelops the soul with a welcoming warmth, a peace that transcends any earthly understanding. Many believe this light is the manifestation of divine presence, the very reflection of God. In the Bible, we find numerous references to light as a symbol of God and His glory. In John 8:12, Jesus declares, "I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life." This light represents God's love, truth, and purity. For those who see it at the moment of death, it is like an invitation to enter His eternal presence. People who have gone through near-death experiences often describe this light as a portal to a place of indescribable beauty. Many speak of an environment that transcends anything known on earth, a paradise where there is no pain, suffering, or worries. It is a place of absolute harmony, where everything seems perfect and peaceful. This vision of paradise reinforces Jesus' promise in John 14:2. "My Father's house has many rooms. If that were not so, would I have told you that I am going there to prepare a place for you?" This experience of the light is also accompanied by a sense of purpose. Many report that as they approach this light, they begin to understand the meaning of their lives. There is a sudden clarity about why certain things happened and how each event, even the most painful ones, was part of a larger plan. The Bible reminds us in Romans 8:28, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." At this moment, many realize that life on earth was merely preparation, a journey of learning and growth. The challenges faced, the losses suffered, and the triumphs achieved were part of a process that shaped the soul. It is as if life was a school and death the graduation to something greater. This understanding brings peace, allowing the soul to advance to the next stage with a light heart and a tranquil mind. Another experience described by those nearing death is the discovery of profound truths about the purpose of life. At this moment, there is a revelation that nothing was by chance. Every joy and every tear had meaning. This understanding is often accompanied by a feeling of gratitude, even for the difficulties faced, as they were fundamental for spiritual growth. The Bible teaches us that each of us has a purpose and that our existence is not random. In Jeremiah 29:11, God declares, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." This promise reflects the idea that our lives are guided by a divine purpose, even when we cannot clearly see it. At the moment of death, many report a sense of completeness. It is as if all the pieces of a puzzle finally fit together, revealing the complete picture. There is an understanding that, although life was imperfect, it was lived fully. Every mistake was a lesson, every loss an opportunity for growth, and every act of love an expression of divine purpose. In addition to these revelations, there are also reports of reunions in the afterlife. People describe seeing not only loved ones, but also angelic figures who guide them in this new plane of existence. These beings emanate kindness, compassion, and an indescribable love. They are seen as divine messengers sent to bring comfort and guidance during the transition to eternity. These reunions reinforce the biblical promise that there is a place prepared for us where all tears will be wiped away and there will be no more pain. In Revelation 21:4, we read, "He will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain, for the old order of things has passed away." This vision of a perfect place, full of love and peace, is a comfort to many who face the loss of a loved one. As the soul progresses in its spiritual journey, it draws closer to the divine presence. Many near-death experience accounts speak of a moment when the person finally meets God. This encounter is described as an experience of absolute love, where all fear, doubt, or pain disappears, replaced by deep peace and a sense of belonging. The Bible often describes God as the light and the source of all love. In 1 John 4:16 we read, "And so we know and rely on the love God has for us. God is love. Whoever lives in love lives in God, and God in them." This verse encapsulates the essence of the encounter with God. It is not just a moment of reverence, but a spiritual embrace where the soul feels completely known and accepted. For many, this encounter is accompanied by a profound understanding of the meaning of their existence. God is not perceived as a distant judge, but as a loving Father who guides, teaches, and welcomes. There is a perception that every moment of life was overseen by Him, that every challenge faced had a purpose, and that no suffering was in vain. As Psalm 139:16 says, "Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be." During this encounter with the divine, the soul also feels enveloped by a light that not only illuminates, but also reveals deeper truths about life and the universe. This light is not physical, but spiritual, carrying a warmth that heals emotional wounds and removes any feelings of guilt or regret. Many who have experienced this moment describe a clarity of thought and a complete acceptance of who they are, as if all imperfections were transformed into beauty through the love of God. In addition to the encounter with God, many people who are about to die report having a final mission. Even after having said goodbye to their physical bodies and feeling the warmth of the divine light, some souls seem to remain for a brief period to fulfill a specific task. It may be visiting a loved one in dreams, leaving a final message, or comforting someone who is suffering. These experiences are interpreted as demonstrations of love that transcends death. The emotional and spiritual bond we share with people in our lives is not severed by death, but transformed. In Romans 8:38-39, Paul states, "For I am convinced that neither death nor life, neither angels nor demons, neither the present nor the future, nor any powers, neither height nor depth, nor anything else in all creation will be able to separate us from the love of God that is in Christ Jesus our Lord." This eternal love is reflected in the soul's desire to continue caring for those they have left behind. These moments of farewell can be as simple as a feeling of peace that washes over someone who is grieving, or as striking as a clear vision of a loved one smiling and conveying comfort. These final encounters are not just a goodbye, but also a way to reaffirm the eternal connection between souls, something that goes beyond time and space. At the end of the spiritual journey, many people report feeling an irresistible call to follow the light and enter paradise. The light is not just a destination, it is a place where love, peace, and joy are absolute. Those who have experienced this vision often describe paradise as a place of indescribable beauty, where nature, music, and harmony create an environment of fullness. The book of Revelation offers a vivid description of this place in Revelation 21:1-4. "Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and there was no longer any sea. I saw the holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride beautifully dressed for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, 'Look, God's dwelling place is now among the people, and he will dwell with them. They will be his people, and God himself will be with them and be their God. He will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain, for the old order of things has passed away.'" This vision is not just a promise of rest, but of restoration. It is a place where all soul wounds are healed, where every loss is compensated, and where happiness is eternal. Paradise is not just a physical location, but a state of union with God, where the soul finally finds its true home. Finally, many accounts speak of a feeling of completion as one crosses the threshold of life and enters eternity. The earthly journey comes to an end, but with a sense of fulfillment. It is as if the soul has fulfilled its purpose and is ready to begin a new stage. This sense of completion is often described as liberating, as the soul leaves behind all worries, sorrows, and limitations of the physical world. This idea of a fulfilled purpose is emphasized in 2 Timothy 4:7-8. "I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, I have kept the faith. Now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day, and not only to me, but also to all who have longed for his appearing." This verse encapsulates the feeling of peace that accompanies the soul when it realizes it has lived a meaningful life and is ready for what is to come. The eternity that follows is not seen as an end, but as a new beginning. The soul continues its spiritual evolution, now free from the limitations of the physical body. It experiences a deeper communion with God and other spiritual beings, learning and growing in an environment of love and harmony. It is an existence that transcends any earthly understanding, but is permeated by unwavering peace. Each report, each vision, and each experience reinforce a fundamental truth. Death is not the end, but a transition to something greater. For those who believe, it is the moment when the soul returns home to the eternal embrace of God. This perspective does not eliminate the pain of loss, but offers hope and comfort, reminding us that love is eternal, and that, in the end, we will all be reunited. As the soul advances in its journey toward eternity, one of the most remarkable aspects described by those who have experienced near-death experiences is the sense of belonging. The instant earthly life ends, a deep understanding arises that every moment lived was part of a divine plan, designed to shape the spirit and bring it closer to its eternal purpose. This perception brings a peace that transcends the pain and fear of separation. The Book of Psalms reflects this idea in its essence, especially in Psalm 23:4. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Leal, this verse is a powerful reminder that even in the transition between life and death, God's presence is constant, offering protection and comfort. The sense of belonging is also translated into reunions with those who left us before. These encounters are not only comforting but carry a message of continuity, that the connections we build on earth do not end with death. For many people, this experience is a sign that love is eternal and that true bonds can never be broken. These reunions also offer a glimpse of how the soul continues to exist in a different plane of existence. It is not an end, but a rebirth, a transition to a reality where the soul can fully express itself, free from the limitations of the physical body. This idea is reinforced in 1 Corinthians 15:42-44, where Paul describes the resurrection as the transformation of a corruptible body into an incorruptible spiritual one. In addition to reunions, another deeply transformative experience at the moment of death is the feeling of unity with the universe and the Creator. Many reports speak of a state of expanded consciousness, where the soul feels connected to everything and everyone. This connection transcends time and space, bringing an understanding that every being is part of a greater whole, driven by universal love. The Bible also guides us in this direction. In Acts 17:28 we read, "For in him we live and move and have our being." This verse encapsulates the essence of this experience of unity. The soul realizes that its existence is not isolated but intertwined with divine creation, like an indispensable piece of an infinite puzzle. This sense of unity is accompanied by a profound revelation about the true meaning of life. Many people report understanding in that instant that happiness is not in material possessions or worldly achievements, but in love, compassion, and meaningful relationships. It is a moment of absolute clarity, where all that is superficial is left behind, and what remains is the essence of the soul, shaped by the love it gave and received. This perception is reflected in Jesus' message in Matthew 6:19-21. "Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moths and vermin destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where moths and vermin do not destroy, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." This teaching invites us to focus on what is eternal, on what truly matters. As the soul progresses, it also experiences what many describe as a moment of acceptance and surrender. There is no more resistance, only the certainty that it is going to the place it belongs. This surrender is described as complete liberation, where all the weight accumulated during life is left behind. There are no more regrets, fears, or worries, only an indescribable peace. This experience of surrender is often associated with the vision of God's throne. Many near-death experience accounts describe a moment when the soul stands before an indescribable light that radiates love and power. This light not only welcomes but also purifies, transforming all wounds into scars of learning and growth. It is a moment of meeting the Creator, where the soul understands its true nature and purpose. The Book of Revelation offers a powerful image of this encounter in Revelation 4:2-3. At once I was in the Spirit, and there before me was a throne in heaven with someone sitting on it. And the one who sat there had the appearance of jasper and ruby. A rainbow that shone like an emerald encircled the throne. This vision reflects the majesty and glory of God, before whom all doubts disappear. At the end of this journey, the soul realizes that death is not an end, but a beginning. It is the transition to an eternal existence, where the soul continues to learn, love, and grow. For Christians, this is the promise of eternal life, a gift given by God to those who believe and follow His teachings. This certainty is expressed in John 3:16, one of the most well-known Bible verses. For God so loved the world that He gave His one and only Son, that whoever believes in Him shall not perish, but have eternal life. This is the climax of the soul's journey, the moment when it understands that eternity is not just a distant concept, but an accessible reality, full of love and peace. Finally, the soul enters a state of eternal communion with God. This is the final destination, where there is no more pain, suffering, or separation. It is a place where all promises are fulfilled and where the soul finds its true home. This communion is described in Revelation 21:3-4. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, "Look, God's dwelling place is now among the people, and He will dwell with them. They will be His people, and God Himself will be with them and be their God. He will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain, for the old order of things has passed away." This vision of the final destination is a comfort to those who remain on earth. It reminds us that, although separation is painful, a reunion awaits, a place where all bonds are restored and love is eternal. This is the promise that sustains us, the thread that connects the temporal to the eternal, the finite to the infinite. As we conclude this spiritual journey, the soul finally comprehends a profound truth. The purpose of earthly life was not to accumulate possessions or status, but to grow spiritually, love unconditionally, and prepare for eternity. This understanding brings indescribable peace, a certainty that everything lived, whether good or bad, had a greater purpose. It is as if all the pieces of the puzzle finally fit together, revealing a complete and glorious image. The Bible reinforces this idea in Romans 8:18. I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. This verse reflects the certainty that the challenges and trials faced on earth have a purpose, shaping the soul and preparing it for something infinitely greater. This glory that will be revealed is not just an abstract concept, but a tangible reality for those who cross the threshold between life and eternity. Another revealing aspect of this journey is the perception that life continues, but in a much fuller and more meaningful way. At the moment of death, what was once just a belief or a hope transforms into a concrete experience. The soul realizes that its existence does not end with the last heartbeat, but expands into a new plane where love and peace are absolute. Many near-death experience accounts describe this moment as a rebirth. The soul not only leaves behind the physical body, but also bids farewell to the limitations and suffering that earthly life often imposes. It is as if all burdens are lifted, allowing the soul to move freely toward its eternal destiny. This transition is poetically described in 2 Corinthians 5:1. For we know that if the earthly tent we live in is destroyed, we have a building from God, an eternal house in heaven, not built by human hands. Eternity is often described as a place of reunions and celebrations. It is the moment when all separations are overcome and souls meet in perfect harmony. Many reports speak of a celestial banquet, where loved ones gather in an environment of joy and gratitude. This image is captured in Revelation 19:9. Then the angel said to me, "Write this: Blessed are those who are invited to the wedding supper of the Lamb." And he added, "These are the true words of God." This banquet symbolizes the definitive union between God and his creatures, a moment of eternal communion. Communion with God is the climax of this journey. The instant the soul approaches the divine throne, it experiences a love so pure and perfect that it transcends anything that can be described in words. This love is not only felt but lived, filling every part of the being with a light that heals, transforms, and elevates. The soul realizes that it is not just a creation of God, but also a part of his essence, a divine spark called back home. This union with God is described in John 14:20. On that day, you will realize that I am in my Father, and you are in me, and I am in you. This verse reflects the depth of the communion the soul experiences, a state of unity where all barriers disappear and divine love becomes the only reality. It is at this moment that the soul finds its final rest, not as an end, but as the beginning of an eternal existence in perfect harmony. For those who remain on earth, the separation caused by death is painful, but the promise of eternity offers comfort. Knowing that life does not end with death, but continues in a place of love and peace, brings hope and strength to face the pain of loss. This certainty is expressed in 1 Thessalonians 4:13-14. Brothers and sisters, we do not want you to be uninformed about those who sleep in death, so that you do not grieve like the rest of mankind, who have no hope. For we believe that Jesus died and rose again, and so we believe that God will bring with Jesus those who have fallen asleep in him. Death, therefore, is not a final event, but a portal to a new reality. It reminds us that we are more than physical bodies, more than the sum of our earthly experiences. We are spiritual beings, created in the image and likeness of God, destined for eternal existence. This perspective transforms how we view life and death, allowing us to live with purpose and face the unknown with courage. Throughout this journey, we have explored the visions and sensations that many people report experiencing at the moment of death. These experiences, documented in near-death accounts and supported by biblical teachings, offer us a glimpse of what may lie beyond the veil of earthly existence. They remind us that life is precious, that every moment is an opportunity for spiritual growth, and that love is the force that connects all things. If you have reached this point, it is because you feel that this message touches something deep in your heart. Perhaps you have lost someone you loved, or perhaps you are seeking answers about the mystery of death and eternity. Regardless of your journey, know that you are not alone. God's promise is clear: love never ends and life continues. As you finish this script, I invite you to reflect on how you are living your life today. Are you focused on what is eternal or trapped by the distractions of the world? Remember Jesus' words in John 16:33, "I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world." This victory is a promise for all of us, a reminder that regardless of difficulties, something much greater awaits us. Finally, we thank you for following this message. If you felt it brought comfort, peace, or inspiration, share it with others. You might be a light in someone's life who is going through a difficult time. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to continue receiving messages that uplift and transform. And remember, death is not the end, but a new beginning. May the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, be with you today and always. Amen.